Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the hidden mathematical engine that's literally driving our reality. We're going to take those abstract numbers, the equations, all those charts, and basically turn them into your ultimate, everyday decision-making toolkit. It's like finding the cheat codes to the real world.
So think about it for a second. How exactly do professionals, I'm talking meteorologists predicting rain, or game designers balancing out gameplay mechanics, how do they actually seem to predict the future? Are they just throwing darts at a board? Absolutely not. They're relying on a highly structured, incredibly rigorous mathematical framework.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, math and the real world. Second, finance and compound interest. Third, making sense of data. And finally, mastering probability and chance. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Math in the real world.
Look, math really isn't just some dry theory that you leave behind in a high school classroom. It's actually the foundational language of critical thinking. By fostering these rigorous problem-solving skills, mathematics equips us for literally everything, from tackling advanced STEM fields to, honestly, just making much smarter choices in our daily lives.
Moving right along to Section 2, Finance and Compound Interest.
Okay, let's talk about compound interest. You can really think of this as the heavy-duty engine behind personal wealth. We aren't just talking about simple addition here. We're talking about exponential, snowballing growth over time. Seriously, understanding this concept is absolutely non-negotiable if you want to secure your financial future. By truly wrapping your head around this math, you basically stop just reacting to the market and you start anticipating it. It completely empowers you to take financial stagnation and turn it into predictable, measurable growth. That means you can plan your investments with absolute clarity rather than just kind of relying on a gut feeling. All right, Section 3, Making Sense of Data. Now, to extract any real truth from raw data, the very first thing we need to do is find the center. We do this using what statisticians call measures of central tendency. You probably remember these: the mean, the median, and the mode. These three tools are really our first line of defense when we're trying to figure out the typical scenario that's buried under a massive mountain of numbers.
But here's the catch. Just knowing the middle isn't enough. We also have to understand the spread, or the variation, using measures of dispersion, things like percentiles and quartiles. Because think about it, if you don't know how wildly the data swings away from that middle point, you simply don't have the full picture.
Imagine for a second you're staring at raw medical research data. Just endless, dense rows of patient IDs, heart rates, blood pressure, trial results. Spotting a trend, finding the actual truth in there, is incredibly difficult. Actually, scratch that. It's nearly impossible because the cognitive load of raw data is just way too high.
And that is exactly where data visualization swoops in to save the day. A tool like a box and whisker plot basically acts as a visual lens. It takes all that messy, overwhelming data and instantly snaps it into focus. Boom. At a single glance, you can see both the center and the spread, which means you can make an informed decision in a matter of seconds. It's a real game changer.
Which brings us to Section 4, Mastering Probability and Chance.
Probability is literally the language of uncertainty. We always start with theoretical probability, which is how we calculate the exact likelihood of an event happening in a perfect world. The formula is pretty straightforward. You just take the number of specific outcomes you're looking for, and you divide that by the total number of possible outcomes.
But as we all know, there is a huge difference between theory and reality. Theoretical probability is what we calculate on paper. It's our mathematical expectation of what should happen. Relative frequency, on the other hand, is the messy reality. That's the experimental measure of what actually goes down when we run trials in the real world.
So how do these two worlds connect? Well, it's through something called the law of large numbers. Say we run an interactive simulator and flip a digital coin thousands of times. Something pretty magical happens. As the number of trials increases, our real-world experimental frequency starts to steadily converge directly toward our paper-based theoretical calculation. Give it enough time, and reality actually catches up to the math.
Of course, life rarely ever gives us just one isolated event at a time, right? To map out overlapping events, we use Venn diagrams. These help us visually distinguish between a union, which is the probability of event A or event B occurring, versus an intersection, which is the probability of event A and event B happening at the exact same time. Think of it like the difference between packing your bag for rain or snow versus packing for a freezing rainstorm where both are hitting you at once.
And this absolutely isn't just textbook theory. Meteorologists predicting tomorrow's rain, actuaries assessing heavy insurance risks, quality control managers checking for line defects, or even game designers making sure a boss fight feels challenging but fair, they all rely on this exact, precise probability toolkit every single day.
The big takeaway here is that mastering these advanced mathematical and statistical concepts literally transforms abstract numbers into an incredibly empowering toolkit. This ability to quantify chance removes all that guesswork, allowing you to step up and make critical, data-backed decisions in what is, let's face it, a highly complex world. Which brings us to the most important question of all. Now that you understand the hidden math that's actively driving finance, interpreting data, and mapping out chance, how will you apply these insights to your next big decision? The toolkit is right there in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep looking for the math hiding in the world around you.